This week, On the Couch was filmed at the beautiful new recently refurbished presidential suite at the Four Seasons Hotel, Westcliff, Johannesburg.
My guest today is an international jet setter, a lady who has accumulated more miles than John Kerry, Siki Mgabadeli. Siki, it's wonderful to have you here. I see you a lot, but I just want to know, where's the next trip?
I'm trying to stay in the country, given the state of our currency at the moment. I don't think I'll be going anywhere the rest of the year.
And hopefully. If you're not traveling, you're a sometimes part-time presenter on E-News, and you do a radio show and so on.
Yes, certainly. And it's been quite a ride, I have to tell you, and I'm very lucky. Exceptionally lucky. I don't take any of it for granted.
I think for people who are just watching for the first time or don't know you, I do the radio with Siki, and I arrive at 6 o'clock. The show starts 6:05. 2 minutes past 6, Siki drives in a midi clubman, and you would never know. You're a true professional.
Thank you.
You conduct interviews with a lot of knowledge, with a lot of sophistication and understanding. You are a true professional, and it's wonderful to work with you.
But I have to say, this is actually the greatest compliment coming from you, because when I started out, I started out at then Summit, now Business Day TV, and it was a great learning ground. And we met people like yourself, people like Davy Rutt, Wayne McCurry, all of those guys. And what you don't realize is how much we learned from you, and a lot of it helping to shape our careers as we carried on. So the preparation, the hard work, they're getting there even if you're late, and doing what you need to do with utter professionalism.
Just take me through your week. I mean, or your day.
My day. No day is the same. So, for example, this morning I woke up earlier than normal because I knew I was going to come and have a sit down with you. From here, I have a recording at radio that I have to go and do. And then I go back home and then look through what's happening in the rest of the market and prepare for the other interviews that we've done. Then I stroll
So that takes you through to 6 o'clock show.
Certainly. So that
and
takes
a lot
me
of those
through
are pre-interviews as well.
Some of them are. It just depends on people's time. I do prefer live. There's an energy that comes with a live interview, a live broadcast that you don't get when you're doing a pre-record. I think because there's that sense that people are watching this now, right this minute. I have to get it right now. So you almost rely quite a lot on your adrenaline. And it's a great thing, adrenaline, and it's a great thing, nerves, but you've got to control them just enough that you can get through and do a good job. So that's 6 o'clock. Then I do the radio show with you, and then I get in the car and I drive across to Hyde Park and go into E-News, and then sit there with the team, and we go through and prep for the show, go straight on at 8:30 to Moneyline, and then get home, hopefully about 9:15 every night. Yeah.
But you do a lot of emceeing as well. And not only emceeing, you facilitate a lot of things, particularly for the World Economic Forum.
Yes.
You're well respected by them. They do invite you to do a lot of their seminars and conferences as well.
I'm a talker.
Yes.
I'm a great talker, love debating, love having discussions, and really love talking to really smart people and getting them to share their ideas with the rest of us humble people on the ground.
But you do it comfortably.
Yeah,
very
because
easy.
I think the thing, David, is that people look at interviews and they think, oh, I'm being asked a question and then I must answer and then I must think of something really smart. But if you make people comfortable, that they feel like they're sitting with you having a cup of coffee and sharing their ideas, and they're not aware of the audience or they're not aware of the cameras and the microphones, then I think I've done a good job.
Where did this all begin? You're from the Eastern Cape.
From the Eastern Cape.
You often go down to see you seem to be very
folks,
close to your folks. You speak to them often.
Yes.
You look after your brother, so you're a good family person. Where did this all begin?
You know, I grew up in a family where education was very important. So both of my parents are educated. They were educators. In fact, my dad retired quite recently early retirement, but he was in the education department in the Eastern Cape. My mom still is. She's a senior subject advisor, runs a department there. My grandmother used to write radio dramas for what is now Mhlobo Wenene, but was Radio Xhosa at the time, to make extra money to put her kids through school. So writing was always in my blood. I apparently started reading when I was 3 years old, and I would start trying to have debates with my cousins about these books that I was trying to read, and obviously I wasn't reading them very well. But I was very keen, and we grew up in a home where reading both in English and isiXhosa.
Where were you brought up?
I was brought up in Mzwelicha, just outside of King Williamstown.
Okay.
And then we moved to East London in the early 90s. So spent most of my life there. And then I went to Rhodes University to study journalism.
Yeah. And from there, where did the big break? Because I seem to have known you forever.
But you know what?
Where did the break come?
While I'm at Rhodes University, you choose your subjects, right? And in first year, I thought, okay, look, I'm doing a B-Journ, so there's the obvious stuff. You must do politics, you must do philosophy, you must do sociology, and so on. And I thought, you know, I did accounting at school. I don't want to do accounting here because I've got, and they probably won't even let me. But let me do economics. So I went and registered for economics. So because I'd studied economics, they sent me in my fourth year, at the beginning of the fourth year, in the Bachelor of Journalism, they send you on an internship. So they sent me to Summit because I'd done economics. I spent a month at Summit. I did radio. We had a fully functioning radio division, and then I did TV for 2 weeks. And I loved it, and they apparently loved me because they offered me a job on my last day. And I said, would you mind if I just do this thing of getting my degree, and maybe I'll see you later in the year? And I got a job.
So you qualified and then came back?
And then I came back. Vernon Matopoulos sent me a contract before I even wrote my last exam. And I started working the very next year, and that was my first big break. The next big break came when my editor at the time moved to the SABC to become economics editor. And when on his last day at his farewell party, he said, give me 2 months, I'm going to bring you over. Which he did. I didn't believe him, but he did. And I went there to go and do an evening business show. At the time, it was at 10 o'clock at night. I didn't know why you'd have a show at 10 o'clock at night. Who's watching?
Because that's all they were prepared to do. I remember that time. Business was not a popular show.
Certainly not. And it's amazing how that's changed now, where you have CNBC Africa, you have every major broadcaster has a business show that is followed by millions of people. So it's very interesting, that change. But I was then seconded to Morning Live.
Okay.
Now, I'm not a morning person.
No, I know. Morning Live means you got up at?
I had to be at work at 4 in the morning. It is not a pleasant thing to do to yourself. So I got to work and I did this. The first day, I didn't tell my parents because I didn't think my mom would believe me. So I didn't tell them that I was now going to be doing the breakfast economic slot on Morning Live. So I did my first slot. I was unleashed by the late Mvuyo Mbuli and Tracy Going at the time. And I finished my slot. I went back to my desk to go and check the Asian markets, and there was a text from my mother. It said, there's a girl on TV. She looks like you. She sounds like you. She even has your name. But there's no way anyone got you out of bed before 10 in the morning. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So from there, I mean, it's been...
Then it's just been everywhere.
And I mean, you're happy in it. You're going to continue it. Yeah.
I love it. I think the biggest tragedy that we have right now is that we lose a lot of experience in journalism. People leave for various reasons. Some go into business, some change careers, some are disillusioned for whatever reason. So we lose a lot of experience and institutional memory. So you don't have a lot of people today who can tell you what happened with Sambo back in the early 2000s because those guys have moved out. And I don't want to be one of those people who abandons ship. I'm not accusing anybody, but I feel like we need to keep the institutional memory. I think the difficulty is, firstly, pay them better. A lot of people move because, quite frankly, the journalism field doesn't pay as well as one does, and we know what the standard of living is. If you're going to have a family and so on, you need to be able to provide for them. So start with that, but also create an environment in your newsrooms where people feel like they are part of something. I remember when I started in journalism, there was an energy in the newsroom. We all felt like we were doing something bigger and greater than what we were actually doing. So create an environment where people are keen, they want to learn, they want to be in there. And because there's so many great stories to tell in South Africa.
I think what I find is that I'm always amazed by the people that either follow me on Twitter or alternatively write me emails, and particularly young people who want to get in, who want to learn more, who want to understand. And I think in South Africa, one of the unfortunate parts is that this first generation, or this generation here, hasn't had the benefit of parents who were in business to pass it on to them. And I think that's one of the issues that we have to address here.
But that's the role we play. Increasingly, they listen to us on the radio. They watch the shows on television, and the more you speak to them in their language, a language that they understand, the better it is, right? So how we grow that timber is the more we make the business news as accessible as possible. And I think that's the thing you've done very well, is everyone understands what you're saying.
No, that's only because I don't understand the buzzwords, you know. I don't understand risk on, risk off. I don't understand headwinds, tailwinds and that. So you have to put business into a language.
Yes.
You know where I got that from?
Yeah.
From Warren Buffett. And what Buffett did was, when he wrote his first letter, he said, I'm writing my letter to my sister who is financially illiterate. In other words, who doesn't understand finance. She's a partner of mine. I'm going to write the letter so that she understands what we did with her money. And I think that's something we have to, you know.
I had an editor once who said to me, if you don't understand it, if you don't understand it yourself, how on earth are you going to explain it to somebody else? So I'm always suspicious when I hear a journalist use a big term, like a jargony term, because then I wonder, do they actually know what they're talking about?
I think Alec Hogg, I must give him respect as well. Also, when he started on radio, did exactly the same thing. You know, he used to criticize us, and in fact embarrass you on radio by saying, bring it down, you know, just talk so people can
understand.
Siki, we're going to have to leave it there. It's been wonderful to be with you. You can talk more if you want to.
I could. I can't believe it's over.
This is a quick trip. This is a 15-minuter, but I know you've got a lot more to say and a lot more to add. You know, to financial journalism. I admire you. I always love being with you. It's always relaxed being on air with you. Whether it's been on TV, which I haven't done with you for a long time, but certainly radio. But thank you for being with us, and thank you for sharing your time and getting up early
and
making us get a makeup artist for you.
Job.
You've been on the couch with me, David Shapiro, and Siki Mgabadeli.